alone in the house. The house stood at the edge of the town, quiet and forgotten. It was an old building with cracked walls and dark windows that looked like empty eyes. People passed it every day but never stopped. They said the house felt wrong. They said it breathed at night. Inside the house, Arun was alone. It was his first night there. He had moved in because the rent was cheap and he had no other place to go. His parents were gone. His job was lost, and friends had slowly disappeared from his life. The house was all he had left. As evening turned into night, the air inside the house grew heavy. The lights flickered even though the wires were new. Arun sat on the floor of the living room, surrounded by half-open boxes. The silence was loud, pressing against his ears. He checked his phone. No signal. Outside, the wind howled softly, brushing against the walls like cold fingers. Arun told himself it was normal. Old houses make noises. Darkness makes the mind weak. Still, he felt watched. The clock on the wall ticked slowly. Each sound felt sharp. Arun stood up and walked toward the kitchen. The floor creaked under his feet, long and slow, like the house was waking up. When he reached the kitchen, he noticed something strange. The back door was open. He was sure he had locked it. A cold wave of fear moved through his body. He closed the door and locked it again. His hands were shaking. He laughed nervously, trying to calm himself. "Just tired," he whispered. He turned around and froze. The chair near the table had moved. It was not in the same place as before. Arun stared at it for a long moment. His heart beat fast. He slowly pushed the chair back where it was. Then he walked away, not looking back. He returned to the living room and sat down again. The darkness outside the windows felt deeper now, thicker. The shadows inside the room seemed longer, stretching across the floor. Then he heard it, a soft sound, like footsteps, not loud, not fast, just slow steps moving somewhere above him. Arun looked up toward the ceiling. "There's no one here," he said, louder this time. The footsteps stopped. The silence returned, heavier than before. Arun's breathing became shallow. He stood up and grabbed a torch from one of the boxes. The beam of light shook as he pointed it toward the staircase. The stairs led to the upper floor, disappearing into darkness. He did not want to go up there, but the house felt smaller now, like the walls were moving closer. He took a deep breath and placed his foot on the first step. The wood creaked. He climbed slowly, counting each step. 1, 2, 3. At the top of the stairs, the air was colder. The hallway was long and narrow. Doors lined both sides, all closed. At the end of the hallway, one door was slightly open. Arun felt drawn to it. He walked forward, his torch lighting the path. As he reached the door, he noticed something carved into the wood. A name. His name. Arun's heart skipped. He touched the carving with his fingers. It was deep and old. "How is this possible?" he whispered. The door slowly opened wider on its own. Inside was a small bedroom, empty, no furniture, only dust and a single mirror on the wall. Arun stepped inside. The door closed behind him with a soft click. He turned quickly and tried the handle. It did not move. Panic rose in his chest. He knocked on the door, then hit it harder. Nothing happened. He turned back toward the mirror. At first, he saw only his own reflection. Pale face, wide eyes. Then the reflection smiled. Arun did not. The reflection raised its hand, but Arun's hand stayed still. He stepped back, his breath shaking. The reflection stepped forward. "No," Arun said. "This isn't real." The lights in the room went out. Darkness swallowed everything. A whisper filled the air. "You came back." Arun covered his ears. The voice sounded familiar, too familiar. Memories flooded his mind. Broken moments. A night long ago. Shouting. Fear. Darkness. The room began to change. The walls cracked. The mirror showed a different image now. It showed Arun sitting in the same house years ago, younger, angry, broken. He saw himself arguing with someone. A shadowy figure. Voices rose. Something fell. Someone screamed. Arun fell to his knees. "I didn't mean to," he cried. The whisper returned, closer now. But you never left. The door behind him vanished. The room stretched and twisted. The house itself seemed alive, breathing around him. Arun ran. He ran through hallways that never ended. Doors opened and closed. Shadows chased him. Every room showed a piece of his past, each one darker than the last. He reached the staircase and ran down. The living room was different now. Old, broken. Dust covered everything. The clock on the wall was cracked. It had stopped. Arun heard footsteps again, this time behind him. He turned. A figure stood there, tall, dark, shaped like a man but hollow inside. It stepped forward. "You belong here," it said in Arun's own voice. Arun screamed and ran toward the front door. He pulled at it with all his strength. The door did not open. The figure was closer now. The air grew cold. Arun fell to the floor, crying, begging. "I'm sorry," he said. "I'm so sorry." The house was silent. Then the figure reached out and touched his forehead. Everything went dark. Morning came. The sun rose over the town. People walked past the house as always. No one noticed anything different. Inside, the house was quiet. In the living room, a body lay on the floor, covered in dust. It looked old, like it had been there for years. The clock on the wall ticked again. At the end, the tragic truth was clear. Arun was never just alone in the house. He had died there years ago, and that night was only his soul reliving the moment he could never escape.